Greetings, I am TiPit. What I wanted to address today is what exactly is a skillful playstyle, skillful player, skillful weapon. Okay, so I'm going to go mostly for the skillful player. What is a skillful player? And in the background here, I got a 50-0 gameplay. Now, I use a lot of Shadow Claw. I got a few kills with the sniper, and I got a bunch of those kills with, like, kill streaks and stuff. So I know it's not exactly a 50-0 with only the traditional weapons and good weapons. I know that. But at the same time, it's a good gameplay, and it's fun to watch, I feel, in general. So basically, what makes a good player? So I've come up to a lot of people and they're like, you know, oh, I'm good, and I look and their main weapon is a VMP or an auto shotgun, and they only use a Ripper, and they are always using a Hailstorm or something like that. It's just like, okay, wow, you must be such a great player, but I don't know, I'm not feeling it. I'm really not feeling it. So what exactly I suggest is a good player. Is it the amount of kills they have, or their KD, I mean? Is it their KD? Well, KD does have quite a big an effect, because if you have a very low KD, it's almost impossible that you be a good player. Even if you're using the hardest weapons in the game to possibly use, you're probably not a good player if you got a 0.6. I mean, you'll be average, and most PC players, I believe, are around point something. They're not even a 1 point something. Most players are under a KD of 1, because you have the players that are under a KD of 1, and then you have the players that are a KD of 3, a KD of 2, or something like that. So that's not necessarily a defining factor, because even if you do have a higher KD, you might be using very easy weapons or kill streaks or camping a lot. Like I was playing against this guy the other day, and goodness, G-Jon, goodness gracious, he is camper with hives using an auto shotgun. It was the most cancerous thing ever. But so I would suggest that's not necessarily what makes a good player. Okay, so you can look at this and you'd be like, okay, what about score per minute, SPM? Score per minute is how Call of Duty is defined in you know, how good a player is. You get defined in the lobby leaderboards by your SPM. So if your SPM is very high, you'll be ranked higher. Right now I'm in about the 3,000 top in the world on domination, and about the 4,000 top in TTM. So I'm feeling pretty confident about that, but that's not what makes a good player either, because if you're always rushing in, for instance, I've done this, and most of the games I have the highest SPM, well, not necessarily the highest, but the second highest SPMs, oftentimes I'm dying a lot. I don't even have a good KD. I'm feeding the team a lot, yet I'm actually getting a lot of kills because I finally get, like, I just run in and kill one guy really fast. Then I spawn, I run in, kill somebody, and die really fast. Then I kill 2 people. So I get really fast, really go, live. But that doesn't actually make it a better player, because I'm feeding the team. I'm basically not helping the team as much as I could, or I mean my team as much as I could, because I'm actually giving the enemy easy points. And if there's the same guy that keeps on killing me, he's going to get his kill streaks, therefore killing my team. So my SPM is high, but my team is low. That's not good. How about the win-loss of a team, okay? Because, for instance, if you have a very high win-loss, for instance, somebody with a win-loss of 3, that could be considered good, right? No, not necessarily, because people have played with squads all the time. Okay, I've seen some players which are actually tremendously bad, okay? These players, like this kid specifically, I don't remember his name, but he was actually a bad player, and he was a jerk. He was mean. He thought he was so much better than others, and he was rich, and he would flaunt that. And I didn't like him, but that's aside the point. He was not a very good player. If you looked at his SPM, his KD, his SPM was very low. Most players' SPMs I've seen are under 200, or about 200. Let's just say around 200. His was, let's say, 180 or something like that. It was a little bit low. And his overall KD was actually not that great. It was maybe a 1.6, so it wasn't the greatest. And he had, like, you know, his win-loss was like 3.6. That's ridiculous, okay? If you consider how that runs, all of a sudden, this kid with 1.6 and about a 200 SPM is bumped up to a 3-point-something win-loss. That's pretty high. What happens is he's always playing with the squad. He's always playing with players that are way better than he is. I've seen a lot of players do that. They only play with higher quality players than they are, which I guess it makes sense, and I guess you can play with them and you get good with them, but that guy had a high win-loss because his team would always win for him. He wasn't ever carrying, he was ever pushing, he was never doing anything. So I suggest that even having a high win-loss is not necessarily a skill. Even if you have all 3 elements, you have a high SPM, you have a high win-loss, you have a high KD, I don't think that necessarily makes you a good player, because something that doesn't show up in the stats is how many times you play with a squad. And I've played a lot with squads. I don't consistently play with squads, but I've done it a lot. And there's some of these players which are incredibly good, and I've played a lot with these guys. But that doesn't actually mean that I'm a good player, because I can be carried by my team all the time. If the guy's really good, I'm always getting carried. Also, just having a squad also guarantees that your players are going to be of a certain skill level. If you join, and sometimes you get some guys that are so terrible, their SPM is like about a 100 or something like that. I've seen some guys with SPMs of 34. That's ridiculously low. So you're guaranteeing yourself you're not going to have guys like that. So playing the squad is definitely going to help you out with that. But it doesn't mean you're a skillful player. So carrying the team, that makes you a good player, right? Not necessarily, because you could be using an auto shotgun, which is one of the easiest weapons in the game. I'll talk about skillful and less skillful weapons in my next video, so look forward to that and see what a logical definition of a skillful weapon is. And as you see in this gameplay, of course, I'm using a very easy weapon. The Shadow Claw is not a very skillful weapon if you're using the bayonet, but if you use the darts, they're actually pretty good. So what I suggest actually makes a good player is not necessarily somebody who's always carrying. Well, I mean, somebody who's carrying, because they could be using easy specialists, easy kill streaks, all that stuff, but is somebody who's using skillful weapons, skillful specialists, skillful skill streaks, things that take, and I'll define that in the next video also, but also somebody who is consistently playing of a certain style. If you're always playing really well with the right weapons, with the right skill streaks and all, I believe that defines you as a good player in the comparison with anything else we looked for earlier. That's about it, you guys. That's my opinion. Tell me what you think. Peace out.
Headed to Exfil. Drinks are on me.